The Boruto manga is currently in the middle of the Code arc, in which the former Kara member Code is attempting to become the worthy successor to Isshiki after the latter died without Kawaki accepting him. Code had fought Boruto, in which Boruto had nearly transformed into Momoshiki completely, but Kawaki put a hole in him to stop the transformation. Honestly, when I read that chapter and Boruto died, I had so many theories about it. I even made a video about the theories, and just like I acknowledged there was a possibility at the end of that video, I was so wrong. I was certain that Boruto could place a karma seal on Code, but alas, incorrect. Momoshiki really has become Boruto's own personal Kurama, and if things keep playing out like the Naruto series has, Boruto may even befriend the Otsutsuki. Don't hold me to that. But as more recent chapters played out, Code abducted the former Kara Scientist Amado in hopes that he would remove the limiters on his karma seal, which of course he did. But we're shown just how truly crafty and untrustworthy Amado can be, as not only had he secretly unlocked Kawaki's karma seal, but he had also managed to talk his way out of certain death and even turn Eida and Daemon against Code, which is an impressive feat. I'm still left wondering what his true goals are and what he hopes to gain from all of this. But one thing is certain, his ability to cling to life with nothing but his mind and that silver tongue are enough to keep me interested in his character. Eida is an interesting character too, and her powers are amazing to say the least. She essentially can see anything that has ever happened from the point of the present all the way back to her birth. She can even see what is happening as it's happening. It's like streaming services turned into a dojutsu. The Boruto series currently is starting to heat up, so without further ado, let's get into it. The monthly chapter review for Boruto, Naruto Next Generations. Welcome to the Amagi. Before we begin, we publish a new video every day, so be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. The Amagi's reach stretches beyond just this channel, so if you're a fan of us, please consider subscribing to our other channels and following us on all of our social media. Help us reach our goal of passing 100,000 followers on all of our accounts by the end of the year. The chapter starts off with Team 7, which now consists of Boruto, Sarada, Mitsuki, and now Kawaki, heading towards Shikamaru's office after having a summons for a mission. They eagerly await their new assignment, not having been able to go on a mission since before Code invaded the village. Boruto mentions with a tinge of nervousness that he hasn't seen Kawaki since he was killed by him. They enter the room to find Kawaki there with Sumire. For obvious reasons, this entire panel gives off an awkward feeling. I mean, Kawaki and Boruto are bros, but to a point that almost feels like something between them has changed. Perhaps Kawaki feels a bit of guilt for what he did. Perhaps it's become obvious that Kawaki would sacrifice anything and anyone to protect Naruto. They have some basic dialogue where they acknowledge the situation of Boruto having been killed by Kawaki, but they only touch on it lightly, with the feeling of this conversation being the same as if they had simply said, "How's the weather?" Class Rep, being the genius she is, detects the awkwardness and immediately interjects with a lighthearted comment about Boruto looking well and her being glad he recovered, being relieved about it. Boruto, in a more lighthearted manner, responds to her, and even Sarada joyfully greets Sumire. Kawaki still isn't over the awkwardness yet, and perhaps he's distrustful of Boruto. Konohamaru and Shikamaru then attempt to get their attention so they can begin the mission briefing. Shikamaru starts by explaining the position that Konoha currently is in. He says that ever since Kawaki got his karma seal back, as well as Boruto still being under the influence of Momoshiki without any possible solution at the time, that makes Boruto and Kawaki large threats on the scale of 2 ticking time bombs. Beyond that, they also have the issue of Code and Eida. This is where Shikamaru begins to go into the details of their mission. All the while, Eida herself on a train with both Daemon and Amado are on their way home from the Land of Snow, a one-way trip that would take 4 days. Eida at the moment is just listening in and watching their conversation, all while Amado stares out the window, looking like a man who has grown tired of this crap. Shikamaru continues talking about Code and Eida. He mentions that Amado has removed Code's limiters, which has given him full access to his true powers. Kawaki curses Amado, but Shikamaru states that it was unavoidable. He likens Code's true power to being similar to that of Jigen's, stating that Code is likely far stronger than Jigen, but likely not completely as strong as Isshiki Otsutsuki, with Code likely lingering somewhere in between. He said that as it stands, Code isn't an impossible being to defeat, but that he still is a threat, and the worst part is that they don't know where in the world he is. Boruto and Kawaki begin to assume that their mission is to find and neutralize Code, but Shikamaru takes it in another direction entirely, and both Boruto and Kawaki ask Shikamaru to be blunt and just tell them instead of over-explaining everything. He mentions that recently Eida and Code broke off their relationship, and now Code is all alone while Eida and Daemon have decided to make their home in Konoha due to Amado's insistence. Honestly, nobody trusts Amado in this manga, but if I'm being honest, bringing Eida and Daemon in, weakening Code's fighting abilities, and augmenting Kawaki's karma seal all sound like good things to me, considering that Code is their biggest threat right now, and that everything Amado has done has led to the eventual defeat of Code, and is even partially responsible for Momoshiki being unable to revive, with the pills he gave Boruto that would weaken the Byakugan and thus keep Momoshiki under control, to the karma seal he gave Kawaki that allowed for Kawaki to stop Borushiki from killing anyone. Don't get me wrong, I'm not dismissing him as a villain, nor am I saying that they're wrong to keep an eye on him, but I am saying that right now everything he is doing seems to be working in the favor of Konoha. So instead of constantly speaking on their suspicion of him at all times, maybe they should be grateful that he's on their side. Team 7 then questions if he means that Eida is now on their side. Shikamaru states that she could be. It's a very precarious position. He mentions that this is a special mission that only Team 7 can do. When Kawaki says something negative about her character, Shikamaru states that they shouldn't talk like that about her. She possesses a few abilities which make her a threat. Among those abilities is a dojutsu which allows her to see and hear anything past or present that has happened. They don't need to make an enemy of her, as she has the power to threaten not only Konoha and the Land of Fire, but the entire world. He states that she likely has been listening in as he spoke, which would be right. On the train, Eida even responds that she is indeed listening, though the only people who could hear her affirm Shikamaru would be Daemon and Amado. Shikamaru then states that their mission is cohabitation. Pulling a Goku moment, Boruto asks what cohabitation means, and Mitsuki and Sakura respond that it means living together. The reason why Team 7 was chosen, as Shikamaru states, is because Boruto and Kawaki would be immune to Aida's secondary ability. He mentions that she has the ability to enchant any person she meets, regardless of who they are. Shikamaru states that even he was enchanted by her, and boy did it take all the willpower he could muster just to oppose her as he did. It's actually quite impressive of Shikamaru. He states that, as it stands, Boruto and Kawaki are completely Otsutsuki DNA-wise now, and that they are the only ones who can do this mission because of it. They're both Konoha's greatest threat, and perhaps its greatest hope as well. He mentions that they are required to report on her, and only they can do it because anyone else would immediately fall under her spell even if she didn't mean to, and start compromising their hold on her by adjusting things to favor Eida. He says that only Boruto and Kawaki will have contact with her, while Mitsuki and Sarada will stay behind to keep an eye out and lend a hand to Kawaki and Boruto. Team 7 asks if she'll really go for that, and Shikamaru states that she has no choice if she wishes to enter Konoha. He says that they can't afford a weak deal that would give her too many advantages. But he further states that he doesn't think that she will have an issue with cohabiting with Boruto and Kawaki. When Mitsuki asks for the logic in his belief about that, Shikamaru states that it's because Eida has a crush on Kawaki. On the train, Eida hears this and freaks out, embarrassed because Shikamaru just flat out told her crush that she likes him. This causes Daemon to freak out when he senses her heartbeat accelerate. She assures him it's fine and continues listening in. Shikamaru states that Eida has a crush on Kawaki, and Boruto asks why she wants him of all people. If she has the ability to enchant anyone in the world, why doesn't she choose someone besides Kawaki? Sumire then explains that what Eida may be up to is that she craves true love, not someone affected by some ability which makes them feel what normally wouldn't be there. Shikamaru then states that essentially they're playing matchmaker, and that it's their basic job to keep Eida happy, and that this is what Kawaki's job is. Boruto's job is to ensure that Kawaki does his job, and Sarada and Mitsuki's job is to ensure that Boruto is doing his job. They're also all supposed to keep tabs on each other and ensure that nobody starts doing anything out of character. Shikamaru then begins to detail their levels of freedom as well as the protocols for the mission, stating that there is a level of priority with their objectives, and when they can't wait for orders, they have autonomy to decide for themselves what is right based on the priority of objectives. Essentially, the objectives are to keep Eida happy and to report back on her. Meanwhile, in the room of the Hokage's office, Sasuke and Naruto meet to discuss this new mission of Team 7's. Sasuke states that because Naruto has already given his approval for the mission that his own opinion doesn't matter, but he does say that essentially this mission is for Kawaki and Boruto as well. They remain a danger to the village and people are rightly nervous about them. He says that this mission was conceived as a glorified house arrest. Naruto would state that Shikamaru's plans are always so genius. He knows that Boruto and Kawaki aren't the kind to back down from anyone, and putting them on the sidelines wouldn't work out well unless they were fooled into thinking that it was a mission. By giving them a mission and a responsibility to focus on, they managed to keep Boruto and Kawaki controlled. Naruto states that this is better than letting them challenge Code alone and get killed. Shikamaru further explains their roles, but at a specific time Kawaki would notice the ghostly figure of Momoshiki Otsutsuki hovering around Boruto, which startles him. And this isn't just an optical illusion, because out of the blue, Sasuke senses Momoshiki's presence as well, leading us to believe that Momoshiki has just made an actual appearance in the room, although only those with incredible sensory abilities or those nearby with a connection to the Otsutsuki clan can seemingly sense it. And this is where the chapter ends. Looking over the chapter, I'm a little disappointed that this, as well as the one before it, only possess dialogue about an upcoming mission. But then again, I know it isn't a bad thing. I just really love action. The chapter is setting things up for the future. One thing that I did notice is that Konoha has specifically ignored the fact that Daemon will be coming as well. It's true that in the previous chapter that Konoha said he wasn't part of the deal, but he is obviously coming. And of course, he'll want to stay with his big sister. I sort of feel like Shikamaru ignored his presence. I also feel that he hasn't taken any precautions to deal with him. I do know that Daemon won't do anything unless his sister tells him to, but the issue I have with it is that Boruto doesn't have the temperament to deal with a 6-year-old powerhouse that possesses ego. So I can only imagine how he'll handle that. Kawaki will more than likely ignore Daemon, specifically because Daemon will likely ignore him. Daemon won't offend Aida's bow. It's going to be a good thing that Mitsuki and Sarada won't be too far from them. Boruto is going to need the help. I'm also trying to determine whether Kawaki is feeling guilty for killing Boruto, whether he's just being mistrustful of Naruto, or whether he just doesn't care at all. The key moment to remember is what was shown thereafter, where he asked Sumire, "You're not going to condemn me for killing Boruto?" I do know that Boruto is Kawaki's self-proclaimed bro, but it's also true that Kawaki asked Boruto if he was willing to actually go through with it, meaning that he didn't want to kill Boruto. It's possible that it's a mix of everything. We know that Kawaki loves Naruto more than the moon and stars. I know that sounds weird, but that's because it is. He loves Naruto and will do anything or kill anyone that comes close to threatening him, and that even includes Boruto. Beyond that, he may still not trust Boruto, as many others no longer do. I mean, when your bro has Diavolo lurking in the back of his brain, you sometimes think twice about how you act about him. And yes, there may definitely be some guilt in there, but Kawaki won't show it. This is possibly why we need Sumire to cut through the awkwardness. I'm interested to see how Kawaki will deal with Aida, and just how Aida will handle him. Kawaki, more than likely, isn't going to fall for her because he just doesn't seem the type to be interested in romance. I feel like Aida is being set up for heartbreak. Truthfully, Boruto is probably the more likely one to have a romantic relationship with her. Code is also off working, tending to his ten-tails, but he still needs an Otsutsuki sacrifice, and right now only Boruto and Kawaki fit that bill. It'll be kind of disappointing if Code can't get that fruit. He wants so badly, under Isshiki's orders, to become a real Otsutsuki. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't want Boruto or Kawaki to die, and I know that their death can't happen due to both of them existing post-time skip hinted at the beginning of the manga. But I do hope that at some point he manages to get the ten-tails at full power. Without it, he'll always remain weaker than Isshiki. Now, of course, Isshiki required Baryon mode to defeat, but when you have someone of his level and then the next villain is stated to be nowhere nearly as strong, it can be disappointing because power creep is going in the wrong direction. I'm also genuinely looking forward to seeing more of Amado in the future. Is that strange? I'm really liking his character and want to see more of him. His mysterious views are intriguing and I want to know what he has planned. Whether he's a villain or not, I don't know. I feel like he's just in it for himself, like so many other characters are, but his actions aren't exactly bad for Konoha. They just circumvent the village's rules and protocols to get things done. And honestly, without him, a lot of things that have happened wouldn't have happened. But it does feel like he has a secret agenda, and the way the story is being written, it wouldn't make sense if he didn't have one. But now we come to the elephant in the room. Momoshiki Otsutsuki. Momoshiki makes a brief but powerful appearance. He only appeared silently for 2 panels, one of which nobody could notice until they saw the second panel. And just from that, both Kawaki and Sasuke were hit with an odd sense. This is clear foreshadowing, and I wonder what for. In the previous chapter, Boruto encountered Momoshiki and Momo told him that something horrible was coming their way, and it would be so bad that Boruto would lose his will to live. And when Boruto's psyche's broken, Momoshiki would shove him into the darkest corner of their shared mind and then take control of the body. Boruto stated that this would never happen, but Momoshiki's appearance here foreshadows that whatever he predicted would happen is coming very soon. Maybe it has to do with Code. Maybe it has to do with the long-awaited time skip. Maybe both of these things are connected. If so, what will happen? Whatever does happen, let's hope that they can make friends with Eida and Daemon quickly, because they're going to need all of the help they can possibly get. Of course, this could be totally wrong. Maybe Momoshiki heard that Eida has an Otsutsuki fetish and is getting interested. Ha, that would be hilarious. Kawaki doesn't match with Eida and Boruto is too awkward, but instead, Eida falls in love with Momoshiki and tries to figure out how to suppress Boruto's personality in exchange for bringing Momoshiki out. Comedy gold. But what do you think? A lot of new things happened in this chapter, but the biggest of them all was obviously those 2 panels of Momoshiki Otsutsuki. What do you think it all means? Where is this leading us? Let us know in the comments below what you think the new chapter's appearance of Momoshiki means. And what about Amado? What do you think his ulterior motives are? And what do you think will happen when Boruto and Kawaki finally meet Eida and Daemon? Let us know. We would love to hear it. Be sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Ring the bell if you want to receive notifications when more content like this drops. As always, peace.